financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
Did he kill himself? Was he killed?
There was something happening here that was bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
A man who, for decades, operated in plain sight while the people around him looked the other way. When people hear the name Jeffrey Epstein, it often comes with one big question. How did one man with no clear business background gain access to some of the most powerful people in the world and get away with crimes for so long? Let's walk through the story, carefully, step by step. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born on January 20th, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York. He grew up in a working-class family in Coney Island. He attended Lafayette High School and later enrolled at Cooper Union, then New York University, but he never completed a college degree. Despite that, in the mid-1970s, he managed to land a teaching job at the Dalton School, an elite private school in Manhattan. It was there that he began forming connections with wealthy families. By 1976, he left teaching and entered the world of finance. He joined Bear Stearns, a major investment bank, and rose quickly. But in 1981, he left the firm under unclear circumstances. In 1982, Epstein founded his own financial management company, claiming he worked exclusively with billionaires. Over time, he cultivated relationships with powerful individuals across politics, academia, royalty, and entertainment. Epstein became known for his connections. He associated with figures like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, prominent academics, and CEOs. It's important to note, being photographed or socially connected to Epstein does not automatically imply criminal involvement. However, his social network later became central to public scrutiny. Epstein owned multiple high-profile properties: a Manhattan townhouse, a ranch in New Mexico, a home in Palm Beach, Florida, and a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands known as Little St. James. That island would later become a major symbol in the investigation. In 2005, a parent in Palm Beach reported to police that Epstein had sexually abused his 14-year-old daughter. That report led to a local police investigation. Detectives identified multiple underage girls who alleged they were recruited to give Epstein massages, which then escalated into sexual abuse. Some victims said they were paid, and in some cases, asked to recruit other girls.
Basically, as the plane took off, he started forcefully touching me in between my legs. And I just freaked out, and I suddenly realized, oh my God, my family aren't going to see me again. These people might kill me. You know, I got such a fright. It was such a huge changing thing for me. And I suddenly realized I had to just be nice and be friendly, because I realized that I was in great danger.
And he's assaulting you and the other women
and
there.
They were laughing. Yeah, they saw and they just laughed. So
victims were given cash payments if they could bring other underage girls to be similarly abused. And that's how he continued to expand the number of new victims that he had.
By 2006, a grand jury indicted Epstein on a single state charge of solicitation of prostitution. Many later criticized the charge as too lenient given the scope of the allegations. Then came one of the most controversial moments in the case. In 2008, Epstein reached a federal non-prosecution agreement brokered by then U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, who later became U.S. Secretary of Labor. Under this deal, Epstein pleaded guilty to state charges. He served 13 months in a county jail. He was allowed work release for up to 12 hours a day. He registered as a sex offender. The agreement also granted immunity to unnamed co-conspirators. This decision would later face heavy criticism, especially from victims who said they were not informed of the deal. Years passed, but investigative reporting, particularly by journalists at the Miami Herald, reignited public attention. In February 2019, a federal judge ruled that the 2008 plea deal had violated victims' rights because prosecutors failed to notify them. Then, on July 6, 2019, Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. Federal prosecutors in New York charged him with sex trafficking of minors, conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking. Prosecutors alleged that between 2002 and 2005, Epstein operated a trafficking network in New York and Florida, exploiting dozens of underage girls. Authorities searched his Manhattan townhouse and reported finding large amounts of cash, explicit photographs of underage girls, a large collection of CDs labeled with names. Epstein was denied bail and held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. On August 10, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his jail cell.
But records show that theory was never verified. Congress later released the full video, including the missing minute, which showed nothing unusual. The Justice Department has not commented.
The New York City medical examiner ruled his death a suicide by hanging. However, the circumstances immediately raised questions. He had reportedly been taken off suicide watch. Security cameras malfunctioned. Guards allegedly failed to conduct required checks. 2 correctional officers were later charged with falsifying records. They admitted to not completing required rounds. The Department of Justice Inspector General later released a report in 2023 concluding that Epstein died by suicide, while also citing significant negligence and misconduct inside the jail. Despite official findings, public skepticism remains widespread. After Epstein's death, attention turned to his longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. The daughter of British media mogul Robert Maxwell had been closely associated with Epstein for decades. In July 2020, she was arrested. In December 2021, she was convicted on multiple federal charges, including sex trafficking of minors. In June 2022, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Her conviction marked one of the few major criminal outcomes connected to the broader case. The Epstein case exposed several major issues. 1. Failures in the justice system. 2. The influence of wealth and power. 3. The handling of plea agreements. 4. The protection and treatment of victims. In 2019, Alexander Acosta resigned as Secretary of Labor due to renewed scrutiny over the 2008 plea deal. Epstein's estate also became the subject of civil lawsuits. In 2020, a victims' compensation program was established, distributing millions of dollars to claimants. The private island, Little St. James, was eventually sold in 2023. The story of Jeffrey Epstein isn't just about one man. It's about how power can shield wrongdoing. It's about victims who weren't heard for years. And it's about how public pressure and investigative journalism can reopen cases once thought closed. There are still unanswered questions in the public mind, but what remains undeniable is the scale of harm inflicted on young victims and the long road many of them walk to be heard. When telling this story, it's important to focus not on sensationalism, but on accountability, verified facts, and the human cost behind the headlines.